My husband's affair with my younger sister. I gave him a taste of his own medicine. I'm Lauren Hayes, 35, an event planner who spent the last decade turning Austin's chaos into picture-perfect moments. A year ago, my life felt like one of my own designs, flawless on the surface, with every detail in place. I'd married Mark, my college sweetheart, a lanky 36-year-old with a charming grin and a job in tech sales. We lived in a sunlit bungalow on the east side, where I'd sip iced tea on the porch and plan corporate galas. My younger sister, Chloe, 27, was my shadow, wild, blonde, and always the life of the party. I adored her, trusted her. Turns out, trust is a fragile thing. It started on a muggy Thursday evening last June. I'd just wrapped a client meeting downtown and came home early, my arms full of fabric swatches for a wedding gig. Mark was sprawled on the couch, scrolling his phone, his usual post-work slump. "Hey, babe," he mumbled, barely looking up. I dropped my bag, pecked his cheek, and noticed his phone buzzing on the cushion. Unlocked for once. A text flashed. "Miss you already? Babe," from Chloe. My stomach twisted, a cold prickle I couldn't shake. "Who's that?" I asked, keeping my voice light. He snatched it up, too fast. "Just a work thing," he lied, his grin faltering. I let it go, but the seed was planted. For days, I watched them. Mark's late nights at the office, Chloe's sudden excuses to skip our sister brunches. Doubt gnawed at me, a relentless itch. Then, one Saturday, I saw it. I'd been grabbing coffee at Joe's, a hip little spot on South Congress, when I spotted them across the street. Mark, in his faded blue polo, leaned over a table, kissing Chloe. Her blonde curls spilling over a low-cut sundress, her laugh cutting through the hum of traffic. My iced latte slipped from my hand, splashing my sandals. But I couldn't move. My husband and my sister, tangled up like I didn't exist. The world tilted, my chest caving in with a pain so sharp I could barely breathe. I confronted them that night. Mark was in the kitchen, chopping peppers like nothing was wrong, when I stormed in. Chloe trailed behind, summoned by my furious text. "Get here, now!" I slammed his phone on the counter, the texts glaring up at us. "Explain this," I said, voice trembling but hard. Mark froze, knife midair, his hazel eyes darting. Chloe fidgeted, twirling a curl, her green eyes wide. "Lore, it just happened," she stammered. Mark nodded, sheepish. "We didn't mean to hurt you. It's been a few months." A few months? My knees buckled, but I gripped the counter, fury surging over the hurt. "You're my sister," I hissed at Chloe. "And you," I turned to Mark, "you're my husband. How dare you?" They babbled excuses, Chloe's, "We fell in love," Mark's, "You've been so busy with work." I wanted to scream, to throw something, but I just stood there, numb, as they fumbled. "We're sorry," Chloe said, tears welling like that fixed anything. I laughed, a bitter, broken sound. "Get out, both of you." Mark grabbed his keys. Chloe hesitated, then followed. The door slammed, and silence swallowed me. I sank to the floor, the tile cold against my legs, tears finally spilling. My family, my whole damn world, had stabbed me in the back. I called my best friend Tara, a fiery redhead who bartends at Zilker Brewing. She showed up an hour later, banging on the door in her ripped jeans and tank top. "Those assholes!" she spat, pulling me into a hug. "What's the plan, Lore?" I wiped my eyes, the sting of betrayal hardening into something else. "They think they can walk all over me," I said, voice low. "They're wrong." Tara grinned, fierce. "That's my girl. Let's burn their little fantasy down." That night, alone in our bed, I replayed it all. The kiss, the excuses, Chloe's fake tears. My heart ached, but anger burned brighter. Mark and Chloe thought they'd rewritten my story, left me as the sad, discarded wife. They didn't know me at all. I'd spent years building events from scratch, turning chaos into triumph. This was just another mess to fix, and fix it I would, with a vengeance they'd never see coming. The days after that kitchen showdown were a blur of raw edges and restless nights. I'd wake up to an empty bed, the silence of our bungalow pressing in like a weight, and feel the sting all over again. Mark's guilty shrug, Chloe's teary, "It just happened." My chest ached. A hollow bruising thing. But every time I pictured them laughing at that cafe, kissing like I was nothing, the hurt hardened into something sharper. Rage. They'd betrayed me, my husband and my little sister, the two people I'd built my life around. But I wasn't some wilting flower they could trample. I was Lauren Hayes, and I'd spent years turning chaos into gold. This was just another event to orchestrate, a spectacular crash they'd never recover from. Tara crashed at my place that first week, her fiery energy a lifeline. She'd sprawl on my couch in her bartending gear, red hair a mess, and plot with me over cheap wine. "They're flaunting it already," she said one night, scrolling Chloe's Instagram stories, selfies of her and Mark at a taco truck, her blonde curls spilling over a low-cut top, his arm slung around her like a prize. My stomach churned, but I grabbed my phone. "They're cocky," I muttered, screenshotting it. "That's their mistake." Tara grinned. "Wicked. Cocky's easy to break. What's step one?" Step one was intel. I'd planned enough events to know timing was everything, so I turned stalker, discreetly of course. Chloe's stories were a goldmine. Brunches, bars, Mark's dumb grin popping up every other post. I tracked their haunts, building a map of their smug little world. Then I dug deeper. Mark had left his laptop logged into our shared cloud one night months back. Sloppy idiot. And I still had access. I found a folder labeled Taxes, but inside were transfers. $5,000 to Chloe's Venmo over 6 months, labeled Fun Money. My blood boiled. My earnings from late-night gigs, siphoned to fund her manicures and margaritas. "Got you," I whispered, downloading it all. I called Tara over the next morning. She burst in, clutching a coffee, eyes wide as I showed her the files. "He's bankrolling her with your cash?" she hissed. "Oh, we're torching him." I nodded, a steely calm settling in. "Not just him, both of them." She tilted her head. "How?" I smirked, leaning back. "First, I make them sweat, then I make them pay." We clinked mugs, and the gears started turning. I needed leverage. Something public, something they couldn't dodge. Late that night, fueled by spite and black tea, I started a blog. Austin Betrayed. Anonymous. Sleek and biting. My first post was vague, but juicy. Cheating husband and his sidekick think they're untouchable. Guess again. I linked it to a burner Twitter account and watched it spread. Locals retweeting, guessing, buzzing. "Who's this about?" one reply asked. I didn't answer, just let the whispers grow. I pictured Mark scrolling it at his desk, Chloe pouting over her phone, and grinned into the dark. "Sweat, you bastards." But I wasn't stopping there. I had bills piling up, our bungalow wasn't cheap, and I refused to let their mess sink me. I'd been eyeing a tech firm, Vertex, for months. They needed an event planner for their annual conference. I polished my portfolio, galas, weddings, every triumph I'd freelanced, and emailed their VP, Jenna Brooks, a sharp 40-something I'd met at a networking mixer. "Lauren Hayes here," I wrote. "I've got a vision to make Vertex's event the talk of Austin. Let's meet." She replied in an hour. "Tuesday, 11 a.m. Bring your A-game." Hope flickered, a lifeline amidst the wreckage. Tuesday, I met Jenna at a sleek co-working space downtown. She was all business, short black hair, tailored blazer, but her smile was warm. "Heard you're a wizard with chaos," she said, sipping a latte. I slid my tablet over, showing a pitch, immersive tech demos, local bands, a rooftop vibe. "This is Austin's Pulse," I said, voice steady despite the nerves. "Your conference, but bigger." Her eyes lit up, bold. "I like it. We'll talk numbers soon." I left buzzing, pride cutting through the anger. I was still me, damn good at this, and they couldn't take that. Meanwhile, Mark and Chloe got bolder. Chloe posted a story Thursday. "Weekend getaway with my fave." A selfie by Lake Travis, Mark kissing her cheek. My phone pinged. "Tara." They're at that ritzy resort. You seeing this? I clenched my jaw, humiliation flaring, then laughed, low and dangerous. Oh, I see it, I replied. Perfect timing. I'd recorded a call weeks back, Mark bragging to a buddy on speaker. Chloe's an upgrade, man. Lauren's too serious. I'd saved it, a grenade waiting for its pin. Now I had the target. I called Jenna Friday. Can you rush a contract? I asked. I'm in a squeeze. She paused, then said, Impressed me enough. $60,000, signed by Monday. Deal? I exhaled, relief washing over me. Deal. That cash would be my parachute. Then I texted Tara. Book me a room at Lake Travis Resort. Their weekend's mine. She replied, Yes. Bring the heat. Saturday morning, I prepped my arsenal. I synced the call to a montage, Mark's voice, Chloe's giggle from a voicemail she'd left me pre-affair, their texts about fun money. I tested it on my laptop, the audio crisp, damning. My blog dropped a teaser. Big reveal soon. Cheaters beware. Twitter exploded. 200 retweets by noon. I packed a low-cut black dress, my war paint, and drove to Lake Travis, adrenaline singing in my veins. Mark and Chloe thought they'd won, parading their love like a trophy. They didn't know I'd been sharpening my knives. By dusk, I checked into the resort, the lobby buzzing with weekenders. Tara called, voice electric. You sure about this, Lore? I smirked into the mirror, adjusting my dress. They lit the fuse. Tara, I'm just the explosion. She laughed fierce. Give 'em hell. I spent that evening fine-tuning every detail, my laptop glowing in the dim hotel room. The Vertex contract arrived, $60,000, signed and sealed, and I transferred it to a new account Mark couldn't touch. My blog post scheduled for Sunday morning, cryptic enough to keep them guessing. Some people think they can steal your life and get away with it. Watch this space. Twitter was already ablaze. Locals tagging friends. Is this that tech guy and the blonde? And I let it simmer. My hands shook as I synced the audio again, Mark's smug upgrade line looping in my ears. It hurt still, but the pain was fuel now. Not a cage. Sunday dawned bright over Lake Travis, the resort humming with brunchgoers and hungover couples. I lingered in my room, sipping coffee, feeling the baby steps of nerves creep in. What if they laughed it off? What if I looked petty? But then I remembered Chloe's giggle, Mark's casual betrayal, and my spine stiffened. I wasn't here to beg. I was here to win. I texted Tara one last time. Showtime, she replied. Crush it. I slipped into the lobby, blending with the crowd, my phone and a portable speaker tucked in my bag. Chloe's latest story popped up. Her and Mark by the pool, captioned, Paradise with my soulmate. My lips curled. Soulmate. Perfect. I spotted them through the glass doors. Mark in swim trunks, Chloe in a low-cut bikini, posing for selfies with the lake sparkling behind them. Their laughter floated over, carefree, oblivious. My heart raced, but my hands were steady as I slipped the speaker onto a patio table, syncing it to my phone. This was it, the moment I'd turn their paradise into my payback. The Sunday sun blazed over Lake Travis, turning the resort's pool deck into a glittering stage for my reckoning. I stood just inside the glass doors, my low-cut black dress hugging my frame, the portable speaker heavy in my hand. My pulse thrummed, a wild mix of adrenaline and cold, steely calm. Mark and Chloe were out there, splashing and posing like they'd already erased me. Him in swim trunks, her in a low-cut bikini, oblivious to the storm I'd brought. They'd stolen my trust, my money, my peace. Today, I'd steal their smug little fantasy and leave them choking on the ashes. I'd scoped the scene earlier, dozens of weekenders lounging by the water, a DJ spinning lazy beats, the resort's sound system ripe for the taking. My blog had dropped that morning, Cheater's Paradise about to crumble, and Twitter was buzzing, locals guessing who'd get burned. I slipped through the crowd, head low, until I reached the DJ booth. The guy, a lanky kid with headphones, barely glanced up. Can I plug in for a sec? I asked, flashing a smile. Quick announcement. He shrugged. Sure, don't fry it. And I synced my speaker, fingers steady despite the sweat on my palms. Mark's voice cut through the air first, loud and smug from the recording. "Chloe's an upgrade, man. Lauren's too serious." The pool deck froze. Heads whipped around. Drinks paused mid-sip. Chloe's giggle followed, from that old voicemail. "He's mine now, sis." Then the text flashed on my phone, projected onto a nearby wall via a mini adapter. "Fun money, $5,000 from Elle's account." Gasps rippled out, eyes darting to Mark and Chloe. He dropped his beer, the bottle shattering on the tiles, his face paling. "What the hell?" he yelled, lunging toward the booth. Chloe shrieked, "Turn it off!" But I cranked the volume, stepping into view. "Surprise," I said, voice cutting like glass. "Your soulmate stole my husband, Chloe. And Mark, you funded your affair with my money. Smile for the crowd." Phones were out now, filming, strangers whispering. "Is that the Twitter girl?" Mark grabbed at the speaker, but I yanked it back. The montage looping. His brag, her laugh, their lies. Chloe's tan turned splotchy, her hands flailing. "You're crazy, Lauren," she spat. I smirked. "Crazy's thinking you'd get away with this." The crowd turned hostile. Someone yelled, "Thieves!" A woman in a sun hat, maybe a friend of Chloe's, stormed over. "This is pathetic," she snapped. "Ruining their day?" I laughed, sharp and unyielding. "Pathetic screwing your sister's husband. Ask them about the $5,000 they lifted." Mark tried to bolt, but a beefy guy in flip-flops blocked him. "Explain, dude," he growled. Chloe sobbed, mascara streaking, but the pity she wanted wasn't there. Just stares and snickers. I let it play out, the chaos unfolding like a perfectly timed event. Tara texted, "Holy shit, you're a legend." I grinned, slipping the speaker into my bag as security waded in, confused but firm. "Ma'am, you need to leave," one said to me. "Gladly," I replied, walking out with my head high, the sound of their humiliation echoing behind me. Twitter exploded, videos of the meltdown racking up views, Austin betrayed trending locally. I'd lit the match and walked away, unscathed. Monday, the fallout hit. My lawyer, Sam, a wiry guy with a shark's grin, filed the divorce papers, armed with every screenshot and recording. Mark's claim to my business earnings? Shredded. Prenup loopholes and fraud evidence left him with zilch. I won the bungalow outright, plus $30,000 in damages. Chloe's social circle evaporated. Her stories went silent, her fun life imploding. Vertex's conference went live that week, my rooftop vision a hit. Jenna emailed, $100,000 for next year's gig. You're gold. I cashed out, moved into a sleek loft downtown, and watched my bank account climb. A month later, I stood in my new place, floor-to-ceiling windows framing Austin's skyline. The betrayal still stung sometimes, a faint bruise, but I'd turned it into fuel. Mark texted once. I messed up. "Lore, can we talk?" And I deleted it, no reply needed. Chloe tried a tearful call. I let it ring. They'd wanted a new life, so I'd given them a taste of their own poison, bitter, public, and final. I smirked into my coffee, stronger than ever. Guess who's laughing now? It's funny how pain can forge you into something unbreakable. I'd built an empire from their wreckage, and it felt damn good. But I'm curious. What about you out there? What would you do if your family turned on you? Let me know below. I'm all ears.